Hi there. My name is Bonnie Sachs, and I am here for the happy half hour, and I'm so excited to be here with you. I actually have my hot tea with me. I live in South Florida, and so it's a little nippy for us, but we don't need to sit and talk about the weather in South Florida because it is so cold everywhere else. It's amazing what is happening. I certainly hope everybody is staying some version of warm. So, as I said, my name is Bonnie Sachs, and I am the author of the Health and Happiness Guide to the Universal Laws, and I also do Akashic Alchemy, which is, gotta have that technology thing going on, right? Suddenly having my phone go off. How amazing is that? Imagine that. Everybody who says my phone never rings, I now have proof that it does ring. So anyway, so I do Akashic Alchemy, which I think is a really fascinating modality. And what it actually is taking a look at healing what has happened in the past by alchemizing what is not the truth of us. And that piece about alchemizing what is not the truth of us really gives us some power and a place to stand in that feels so much better in light of everything that is going on in the world today. So what happens is we actually have something happen to us, and we either interpret it or misinterpret it depending on the situation. And it could be in this life, and it also could be in a past life. And we hold on to these stories of what has happened to us, and they are not necessarily the truth of who we are. That's not actually what happened in the situation. So for example, in a situation, when you're a little kid and you come running in all excited, to show your mom something, and your mom, yells at you because she's, up to her elbows in a dirty diaper with your little sister, you don't see that piece of it, that the truth is that she was yelling at you because she was up to her elbows in a dirty diaper. What you're actually getting is, oh my gosh, my mom doesn't love me, or she doesn't care about me, or she thinks that maybe this picture that I did isn't very good. And maybe you've held on to that for all of this of your life and thought, no, I'm not a good artist, I can't draw, I can't do this. And it all stems back to that particular issue. So what we do is actually go back to that time period and make the connection there, and then alchemize. We actually use energy healing to alchemize the part that says that you aren't a good artist, that you can't draw, that there is something about you that your mom doesn't like. And then we put that information back into your Akashic records where it belongs, but it's filed correctly, you've got the right information there. And so that allows you to then start to explore some other thoughts and patterns about yourself, like, well, maybe I could draw, or maybe, my mom, doesn't dislike me for this particular situation that you're thinking of. And we start to heal those old wounds. And what happens is we end up raising our frequency, and we always wanted any opportunity to increase our frequency, because the higher the frequency we are, the better we feel, the more love we have for people, the more understanding, the more awareness. And so that's always a great place to be, particularly with everything that is going on in the world today. So today I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the law of abundance. And this is the coolest law. I probably say that every week, but it really is a very interesting law. And the piece that I love about it is that we are really born with an infinite supply of everything that we need to accomplish what we want to do in this lifetime. And what happens is that when we're born, we start taking on the belief systems of whoever we live with, whoever raises us, whoever we hang out with. And usually there are other belief systems that are contrary to the idea that we have an infinite supply of everything we need. For me personally, I remember if I could count how many times my dad would say, money doesn't grow on trees. And we used to laugh about it, as I got older and say, well, yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. But I now understand that money actually is in infinite supply. It's actually an energy exchange. And to use money as the example, the more you allow money to flow in and the more you allow it to flow out and you allow the ease of that, the more money that you have and the more that money comes to you. So we have these beliefs, these things that were said to us, and I'm sure everybody can put something up about a belief system that they had about money, or that there's not enough jobs, or, you could come up with, tons of things, tons of ideas that you have. Hi, Jenny. I want to say hi to you, and hi, Melissa. I certainly appreciate you all popping in and commenting here, because it's very fun to have all of you guys here in the conversation. But once again, there's lots of things that we think. And the question really about the law of abundance is, what do you believe? What is your thinking on abundance? The very first thing you come up with is one that you want to go with, like, oh, gosh, that's right. I have thought about that particular statement, that there isn't enough food around, or I can't have what I want, because if I have what I want, then my neighbor can't have what they want. And when we start to catch ourselves in our thinking, we can start to shift that. We can start to say, oh, that's not really the truth of the situation. Here's what I love about the law of abundance. The law of abundance is best illustrated by the sun. I just absolutely love this analogy. So the sun shines. Sun doesn't care who it shines on. The sun just shines. It's up there in the sky. It's actually shining. You can sort of see it on the back wall there, shining today. And it doesn't care whether it's shining on somebody who is grumpy, somebody who is happy, somebody who is sad, somebody who hates the sun. And it doesn't really care whether you get too much sun or too little sun. It's just doing its job. It's there shining. And the law of abundance is exactly like the sun. There is plenty of it. Now, it might feel like there's times when it's not there. We had a few days the other day, a couple days ago, where it was just raining and pouring, and I would have sworn that the sun wasn't around. But in fact, the sun is there. It's just being hidden. So oftentimes, the things in our life we think that there's not enough of, or that I have to fight and work hard to achieve that, are actually very available to us. They're just kind of hidden from us. And so we want to just be patient, stop, wait, and see how the next thing will show up, and know that it really will show up. Because the reality is that the universe has no limits whatsoever. It is constantly expanding, constantly moving outward. And I love the example of technology for proof of this, because, it was 100 years ago when people said, actually it's probably less than that, when people said there was nothing more to invent, there was nothing more that could be created. And then, along came the computer, and then along came the cell phone, and I'm certainly not doing it in the order that they appeared. But the point is that the technology is constantly pushing outward. It's constantly shifting and constantly moving. And that is exactly like the law of abundance. It's exactly like the universe. There is always more to be had. We are never going to run short on things. We just have to check how we're thinking about it to be able to understand how we can shift it for ourselves. Of course, all of us have our own perspective. So we want to do it for ourselves. What is your thinking around abundance? What is your thinking about money? What is your thinking about friends? Or what is your thinking about being able to get those prize tickets to the concert that you want to go to? Are you thinking, oh, I'm never going to get those. Those aren't ever going to be available to me. Or are you thinking, oh yeah, I'll be able to get those. I'll be able to find some. That's not a problem. So we really want to ask ourselves, what is our belief system about abundance? What is our belief about money? What is our belief about our friendships, our relationships, or anything else that you might think that there just isn't enough of? And I see that Ina popped in on the video, and I just want to say that includes fish, because I know Ina really loves to fish. So it is absolutely the case that there is enough of everything. We are not running out of fish either, fish in the sea for sure. So here's 3 questions that I want to pose to you that you can take a look at to see how abundance shows up for you. So the very first one is, what do you focus your attention on, or where do you focus your attention? What are you noticing? What are you paying attention to? And if you take a look at the stories that you believe, well, you know, for years and years, I heard about how certain people were constantly taking jobs away from my grandfather. So I am sure that are a whole bunch of people that are after a certain sector of jobs that, you know, if you don't have a degree, you're not going to be able to get that job. If you don't have a master's degree, that job is not going to be accessible to you. If you're not making a certain amount of money, you're never going to be able to live in that kind of house or drive that kind of car. There are tons of stories, things that somebody says when we're at a party, or we pick up, you know, from childhood. We hear our parents or our grandparents, aunts, uncles say all of those kinds of things that people just say, and they're not often very mindful of what they're saying and how they're creating it. They're just kind of tossing it out. And I love that that saying that says, you know, opinions are like ears. Everybody has 2. And I would say everybody has at least 2 opinions. And so we pick those things up and we start to think that they're true. So where are you focusing your attention? What are you believing that there isn't enough of? Doesn't matter what the topic is or the subject is. What do you believe that there's not enough of? Here's the second question. Are you worthy? Which part of you says, oh, I don't know, I just don't deserve that. I'm not sure if that's meant for me. I don't know, if I don't have this, you know, criteria, there's no way that that's going to come to me. That's really about worthiness. And when we take a look at that, when we kind of break it apart, we see that we're actually looking at more of what we believe, and we want to move away from that unworthiness. We want to see that there's a way that we can move the unworthiness piece, that thinking that because we're not enough, we're not going to have it, is not the truth of who we are. Kind of like the sun up there. The sun is not saying, oh, you don't make enough money and you have the wrong kind of job. You know, the sun is just absolutely shining on us, regardless of whether we think we're worth it or not, right? So that's the second question. The third question for us to look at is, what do you reinforce? What are you constantly saying to yourself over and over again? And this sort of goes back to what we were talking about last week when we were talking about the statements that we make, the things that we say, that if we really noticed them and paid attention to them, we would be like, oh, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. And, you know, I teach this stuff all day long and have an opportunity to practice it often. And I still find myself saying things like, I don't know if that'll work for me. And then I look at that and I go, wow, I can't believe I just said that. I don't know if that'll work for me. You know, that's more unworthiness. That's a part that says that I'm not worthy of whatever abundance would be flowing. I don't know if I'm enough for that, if I'm capable of that. And the truth of the matter is, why would I have that be the case? So I love that I'm getting all sorts of fun technology stuff. My phone rings at the beginning. My husband just turns on music in the background. I'm not sure whether you all could pick that up because I am on a headset, but it's a little distracting to hear. What is that song? Oh, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, we'll play Name That Tune some other time. So we really want to take a look at those questions. Where can we see that we are not allowing abundance to come in, either by the way we think or the way we speak or the things that we keep repeating over and over again, which is kind of like a combination of the two things. So here's some ideas for putting the law of abundance into practice. Because there's always some ways that we can, just little things, we can shift just a little bit and start to have more awareness and more understanding. The very first thing is something I absolutely love, and I do try to do this once a week, once every week and a half or so, is literally write a list of all the ways that I'm abundant. And I start writing the names of people, and I write the opportunities that I've had and the things that I've been able to do in that time period. So, maybe I had an opportunity to catch a yoga class, or I had the chance to sit down and start dreaming about what kind of vacation I would like to go on. Some days I have to even go to the point of, like, I have a house to live in, and I have a car to drive, and I have clothes to put on my back. If you looked at my list, you could see kind of where I am in my thinking of abundance. There are days when I need a bigger list. I really need to keep on going. Instead of just doing this for 5 minutes, I need to do it for 10 minutes because I really need to be reminded of all the ways that I am abundant and can step into more abundance, because of course the universe says, well, you've got that much, let's give you some more. And so if you sit down and you start that list, you may be amazed at all the things that you have that you can already start to expand on. The second piece is kind of a continuation of that first piece, which is about being grateful. And gratitude is huge. Every time I take a few moments to be thankful for what I have, to be, grateful for the people and the things and the experiences that I've had, I find that I have more come to me. And I love the way the universe works, because that is the truth of it. The more that we step into appreciation and gratitude and recognize what we have, the more that comes to us. Usually what happens, in my kind of old paradigm, was I would sit there and go, God, it would be so nice if I could go on vacation. Or, gosh, it would be awesome if I could just afford to take that class, or if I could just, have that opportunity. God, that would be really nice. And I was actually thinking that I was calling more of that to me, because I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm creating it in my head. What's that car going to look like? Or what's that vacation going to be like? But what I was doing was I was putting that little thing in it that was like, I don't trust the universe. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. I don't know if I'm worthy of it. I know that money doesn't grow on trees. There's those little pieces that I end up putting into those kinds of statements that the universe is like, oh, well, look, I guess we need some more examples of you seeing how you don't have, so that you can appreciate when you do have. So that piece about writing a list of things that are abundant in your life and then being grateful for them, whew, that is like so amazing. The next idea I have for you to really start putting this into practice is to start thinking about ways that you can release more of your unworthiness, more of the stories that you tell yourself of why you can't do something. So if you're somebody who, you know, didn't have the opportunity to go to college, you went right into your trade and you've had a great career at a trade, but there's that piece of you, you know, somebody who said, well, you know, if you had a college degree, you would have blah, 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 right? If you have that thing going on, if you can recognize that piece about you that says, oh, wow, somehow I picked up the thought process that said, if I don't have a college degree, I can't do this. When you can start to recognize that and see that and start to realize that that's just a story that somebody told, there isn't the truth of you that you have to have a degree or some sort of certification in order to move in the direction you want. Because the truth of all of us is that if we're supposed to be moving in a direction, we're going to move in that direction, whether we have what society has told us that we're supposed to have. We're going to move in that direction because that's where we are supposed to be. And it's when we can access more of our own information and more of our own knowing and really get that what society is telling us is not really true, we start to get what we want. And then we start to see some more abundance. So you want to start to look at where we see unworthiness. Maybe it's where we see where we need to control something. That's another one. I have to make a list for myself. Places where I'm trying to control things and see that when I'm trying to control something, when I'm trying to manipulate something, when I'm trying to push something into place or grab something that isn't mine. All of those things are ways that we are not allowing abundance. We're not trusting that we really can have everything we need. So when we start to connect with, oh, look, there's that habit I'm doing again that says, oh, I don't trust the universe. I'm not sure that the universe is going to give me what I need. When we start to connect with that, then we can start to let those things go and start to say, we don't need that anymore. It's not serving us. And then we become more abundant. I want to say hi to Roz and hi to Bruce and hi to Dakota. I'm so excited to have all of you on with me today. And it's really fun to talk about the universal laws and the specifics of the universal laws, because the more aware we are to all of this information, the more that we can start to really access our own information and start to have everything we want, because this is the time period that we are in, is that everything is available to us. And the more we allow things to unfold and we allow things to just sort of come to us as they will, the more that we get what we want. One of the things I got in the Akashic Records this week was that piece about allowing ourselves, allowing our thinking to be more like the tides, where the water just sort of rolls in and then the water rolls out. And the water rolls in and it doesn't say, oh God, I didn't move up far enough on the shore. I better do it better next time. It just rolls in and then it rolls back out. And if it rolls in and it brings some seaweed with it, it's not saying like, oh, seaweed, I am just so not worthy of doing this. Instead, it just rolls back out and then it rolls in. And the more we can allow ourselves to be in that sort of mindset of flow where things come in and things go back out, the more we are starting to feel comfortable with what the universe is giving us, and the more the universe is going to give us. I absolutely love that piece. So I do want to let you know about a few really cool things coming up in the next few days. The very first one is that tonight, if you are interested in learning how to read the Akashic Records, remember that the Akashic Records are the vibrational recording of everything that has ever been said, done, or thought, and we can access those records. I learned to do it through reading a prayer, and we access the records through reciting a prayer and then just connecting with whatever comes to us. So I'm going to be teaching that with my business partner, Lily, tonight online. If you're interested in joining us, it's a completely free opportunity. You can go to bonniesacks.com, or you can go to my Facebook page, or you can go to our business Facebook page, which is the Enlightened Humanity Circle, and click on the link so that you can join us. That's going to be tonight at 7:30, and it's going to be an hour and a half. We're going to have fun. You're actually going to be able to see us. You don't have to worry about being on video, but we are going to have fun with that. And then on Sunday night, we're actually going to take that practice further when we're starting our class called The Power of the Akashic Realm. And we are going to be teaching people who are interested, learning how to ask great questions in the Akashic Records and being able to connect more with what they're getting. You know, when I first started reading the Akashic Records, I remember there was a time that I was like, I keep getting an elephant. And so I had to call my friend on the phone, who was my mentor for a very long time. And I would say, I keep getting an elephant, and I don't know what an elephant means. And she said, well, what does an elephant mean to you? And I said, oh, well, to me, it actually means like the elephant in the room, that there's something there that nobody is talking about. And she goes, does that fit into the reading you got? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, it does. And so it was a great opportunity for me to realize that, you know, I was getting information, because of course the first thing I did was, oh my God, what is an elephant? I must not know what I'm doing. I must not know what I'm talking about. I must be unworthy. And I had somebody who could say, well, what does it mean to you? And so this course that we're going to be doing is going to be doing just that. And we're going to be working on health and career and purpose. Life purpose is a huge one. I think it's the number one question I get asked when I do a reading for somebody is, am I living my life's purpose? Am I moving forward on what I'm here to do? People really want to know. They want to be sure that they are doing what they're here to do. So we're going to be starting that class on Sunday, and that's going to be an awesome opportunity if you're at all interested in doing those kinds of things. Once again, you can find that information on my website. And then the last thing I want to let you know about is on Tuesday night, we're going to be doing a call with a very dear friend of mine. His name is Dave Markowitz, and he is the empath guy. And he has written several books about people who are sensitive and how they need to manage their world, what they need to eat, how to handle them if you're the partner of somebody who is sensitive, and then if you are the sensitive person, really understanding what you have available to you and understanding what a magical gift that being sensitive is. So that is going to happen on Tuesday night, and all of that information can be found on my website and on my Facebook page. So I certainly hope that you will join us for one or any of those. And we're going to be back here next week, where we're going to be talking about the law of attraction. And then the following week, which is the 15th, on the 15th, Monday the 15th, we're actually going to be starting to do this on Monday at 9 a.m. And so we may actually do a couple of two for the week, so that we have an opportunity to give this information to lots and lots of people. So I hope you will be able to join me for talking about the law of attraction. It's huge, and there's so much to it. But once you really connect with the law of attraction, you just find things just are created like crazy and come to you so easily. It's such a fun thing to be able to do. And I certainly hope you all have a great weekend. And if you have an opportunity, buzz by my Facebook page, watch a video or two, and connect with me anytime you want. I'd love to see you. Take care.